Hello, Stampers! I've got a thank you card for you today, and this cute scene, I guess it could be made a Christmas card, it'd be a birthday card, you know, winter scenes, you can just use them for so many things. So I wanted to make mine a thank you card just so I have a few thank you cards for after Christmas to send to people. So I'm going to be using the Grove dies and also the Grassy Grove stamp set. So we'll be using those two items. Here's the Grassy Grove stamp set, and it's got some beautiful images in it. I'm going to be using these grasses and this thank you out of it. And then the coordinating dies, I'm going to be using this set here, but I'm going to be using like a stencil that I created using this deer die. I just cut it out of cardstock and using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And it doesn't matter what color of cardstock because you're going to be using it as a stencil. What's good about this stencil is that you can have your deer facing either this way or you can have it facing this way. And I just leave this cut out inside of my die set. And that way I just have it available for whenever I want to, like, just stencil in a deer. I think they're pretty when they're stenciled in. And it's super easy, of course. So we're going to be doing that. So we're going to get started on our scene. But first I want to tell you all the dimensions for the card are down below this video. Just click show more under the description and you'll find them there along with all the links to the products. That'll take you to my online store where you can shop with me 24/7. So we're going to be using basic white for our main panel. And I have that panel right here and it's 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to need a Post-it note. So I'm just going to grab a Post-it note, and these are 3 by 5 Post-it notes. And I'm just going to rip just a fine edge off of the sticky part of this Post-it note, just so the my snow looks fluffy instead of just straight across when I mask that for that in my scene. So I just did that. I have plenty of sticky left on here to stick on here. And I'm going to mask like the bottom 2/3 of this. I want plenty of room for my deer and the tree trunks and stuff down here. So I'm mask. You don't have to go all the way to the bottom because we're going to be working up here for our sky. And we need a sun mask. And what I'm going to do is I have a double layer of Post-it notes here. You can see I punched my original out for the card that I showed you. And we're going to take a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. You can use any size circle for this. If you don't have like a 1 1/4, use a 1 inch or 2. It doesn't matter. It just depends on how big you want your sun. I thought 1 1/4 was good. I'm going to lift up just the side of this Post-it note, and I'm going to stick my sun mask underneath it. I've got the sticky part out here, so it's stuck down, and that's for our sun. So now we have our sun mask and we have our snow mask on. So I'm going to start with Lost Lagoon for our sky area. And I'm going to grab a blending brush. And I'm going to blend that Lost Lagoon all over this unmasked part of the card here. So there's our Lost Lagoon on there. That was super quick, right? And I'm going to get some pretty peacock out here. And I'm just going to use a little of that pretty peacock at the top of my panel. Get a little darker up here. So there's our little two-toned. And then I'm going to grab some old olive and a blending brush. I'm going to add some old olive down here. Just about a 1/2 inch of it along there. And to get just a little darker, I'm going to get some Mossy Meadow out. And that's going to go right at that Post-it note edge, just to be a little darker there right at the edge. So there is our sky done. So next I'm just going to sneak that sun mask out Well, if I can get my Post-it note up here, there we go. Sneak that mask out and then lay that right back down where it was. So if you just open that one side, you can lay it right back down. Don't have to worry about trying to figure out where it went. And now our sun is exposed halfway there. And this is crushed curry in a blending brush, and I'm just going to add some of that crushed curry right there, right in that sun. That really pops, doesn't it? So there is that, and now we're going to take this mask off. Now I have that blending brush here that has a little bit of that Lost Lagoon on it. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of that Lost Lagoon, kind of in like a little wave here across the panel. And that just gives us a little interest in that snow, so it's just not a big white space there. Breaks that up just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to put our deer in and our sentiment so we know right where to put our trees. It's good to have that deer in place first. I'm going to grab some pecan pie. Grab my deer here. And I've got it a good inch from the bottom here. And I wanted him facing this way. So I'm going to grab my blending brush. I got some pecan pie here, and I'm going to use that to just use over that stencil. There we go. And then I want his back to be a little darker. So I'm going to get some early espresso here. I'm just going to put a little bit on the tip of my brush. And I'm going to hold that mask really nice and solid there. And I'm just going to add some of that to his back. Just to give him a little two-tone color, like there's a shadow cast on his back there. And then you move it. There is your two-tone deer there. Okay, so we have that done, and I still have my early espresso out, so I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment in. It says thank you, and that is out of that Grassy Grove stamp set. I'm just going to test that stamp. There we go. And then I'm going to give it a little stamp here. This is a pretty image, that thank you there. Okay. So we have that done, and now for our trees. Now these trees are just kind of abstract trees. They're not going to be perfect, and how you put them on is you're just going to grab your colors. I'm going to start with Lost Lagoon. And we're going to be using this edge here of our stamp. And we're going to hold it to the side and add a tilt. And I'm going to show you on my scrap paper first. I'm tilting my pad, and I'm just going to pull it down, okay? And you can pull it down and add a little pressure and make wider trees. So this is entirely up to you. Just try not to get any on your deer. And these blue ones are kind of in the background. And you can just kind of tap your pad on there to make some trees. So there is Lost Lagoon. And now I'm going to get a little darker with some trees. I'm going to add some with Pretty Peacock that same way. So I'm just going to kind of tap these in. There we go. You can make as many trees as you want. I'm going to add some gray granite trees in there too, just to get some of that gray in. This is going to be done the same way. Like I said, they're not going to be perfect. So there is some trees. Let's go a little. And there is our little scene with our little abstract trees. So then I'm going to add some stuff at the bottom. I just wanted to kind of break the snow up here a bit. And so I have this grassy looking stamp from the Grassy Grove stamp set. And I'm going to start with gray granite for these images. And I wanted them light, so I'm going to stamp off once and stamp on my cardstock. Stamp off, stamp on. And then I'm going to go to another color. So I'm just going to layer these colors up. I have the gray granite from our trees, and now I'm going to do some of that Lost Lagoon. This is all about just layering your colors here. So Lost Lagoon, I'm going to add some of that on here. Going across. And then I think I want some Pretty Peacock down here also. I'm going to go a little lower with that Pretty Peacock. And then I'm going to take my blending brush in this Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to blend it across that bottom there. There we go. And how's that for a scene? All done. So I just love these abstract trees. You can make them any color you want. You can do your background any color. This is just the colors that I picked out. And this is a very simple card to put together. There's not a whole lot to it. I'm going to take some ribbon. And the perfect one is this Lost Lagoon ribbon. And I'm going to take enough to go across the top of this scene. And this again breaks up that scene a little bit. Anytime you put something on, it just kind of helps break things up. So I'm going to use a mini glue dot on each side here for a ribbon. Add a length of that ribbon down here at the bottom. I'm just going to sneak it underneath the ribbon we just put on and just give it one tie. There we go, and have them facing down. You can hold on to it, kind of pull those legs down a little bit. Get them going the right direction. Give them a little trim. There we go. You can make those legs as long as short as you want. And now we're ready to start assembling our card. Now for the inside, I'm just going to use a couple layers here. I have a basic white layer that is 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to add it to a Pretty Peacock layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. These layers are just to balance out the back of the card with the front of the card. So the front of the card doesn't seem so heavy and make the back of the card seem flimsy. And plus I like the look. It looks finished when you add layers on the inside of your card. And here's my card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5. And it's folded in half to create my quarter card. So these are just going to go inside. Let's add some love. Okay, and then this one will go on the front of the card. Not a whole lot of layering going on or, special stuff. This is a large scene, and I kind of just want it to be, the scene to be the big draw to the card. Here we go. Might have to hold those corners down where that ribbon is just for a second. And there is our deer. And this one has a few more trees than this one, but I think they're both wonderful. I love those abstract trees. So that's our card for today. I hope you enjoyed this project and that you give it a try. Thanks for joining me today. Toodles!